You're standing in front of your bathroom mirror at 2 a.m., and for the first time in months, you're not thinking about her. You're not replaying conversations, analyzing text messages, or wondering what you did wrong. You're just looking at yourself, really seeing yourself, and something clicks. The man staring back isn't broken. He isn't too much or not enough. He's just been giving his gold to someone who treated it like copper. But here's what nobody tells you about that moment. It's not just enlightening, it's terrifying. Because once you see your own worth, you can never unsee it. And that changes everything. Today, we're diving deep into that transformation. The moment when you stop being her emotional ATM and start being your own bank. Because, brother, the game doesn't just change when you know your value, it completely flips the script. For too long, you've been playing a game where the rules kept changing, where your moves were predictable, and where losing felt inevitable. You gave your time like it was infinite, your attention like it was worthless, your heart like it was replaceable. But what if I told you that everything you thought was weakness, your patience, your consistency, your depth, was actually your superpower? What if the very qualities she took for granted are the ones that will make her realize what she lost? This isn't about getting revenge. This isn't about making her jealous. This is about something far more powerful, discovering that you were never the problem. You were just in the wrong game with the wrong player. Let's break down exactly what happens when a man finally stops explaining himself and starts explaining to himself why he deserves better. You know what's fascinating about human psychology? We don't value what's always available. Think about it. You don't appreciate breathing until you can't. You don't value electricity until the power goes out. And she didn't value your presence until it became absent. For months, maybe years, you were her emotional insurance policy. Available 24/7, ready to discuss, explain, defend, and prove your love at any moment. But here's the psychological shift that changes everything. The moment you stop being emotionally available on demand, you become emotionally valuable by design. This isn't about playing games or manipulation. This is about recognizing that your emotional energy is finite and precious. When you stop investing it in someone who wastes it, something powerful happens, not just to you, but to how others perceive you. Suddenly, your silence speaks louder than your words ever did. Your absence becomes more noticeable than your presence ever was. And for the first time, she starts to feel what you felt, the echo of someone who used to care, but doesn't anymore. Let's talk about the kind of man you are versus the kind of love she was ready for. You didn't love her like a teenager loves a crush, intense but shallow. You loved her like a man loves a woman, with intention, with depth, with the kind of consistency that builds lifetimes. But here's where it gets complex. Depth intimidates people who live on the surface. Your emotional maturity felt boring to someone addicted to chaos. Your stability felt predictable to someone who confused drama with passion. Your loyalty felt guaranteed to someone who needed constant validation of her power over you. She mistook your strength for softness because real strength doesn't need to flex. Real power doesn't need to prove itself. You showed up consistently not because you were weak, but because you were secure enough in yourself to be vulnerable with another person. But vulnerability requires a safe space to exist. And she wasn't providing that. She was testing it, pushing it, seeing how far she could stretch it before it snapped. What she didn't realize is that when genuine loyalty snaps, it doesn't come back. It transforms into self-respect. Economics teaches us about supply and demand, but nobody talks about how this applies to relationships. When you were giving her unlimited access to your time, energy, and emotion, the value decreased. Not because you were worth less, but because abundance without appreciation breeds entitlement. The moment you became scarce, not manipulatively, but authentically, everything shifted. Suddenly, the text that used to get an immediate response takes hours. The energy she could tap into whenever she wanted becomes unavailable. The emotional support she took for granted disappears, and that's when the panic sets in. Not panic about losing you as a person, but panic about losing her power over you. Because for the first time, she can't access you like a vending machine. She can't put in minimal effort and get maximum return. The transaction that worked so well for her suddenly Doesn't work at all. This is the moment she realizes the difference between loving someone and using someone. Because when love is taken away, you feel loss. But when a resource is taken away, you feel panic. And her reaction will tell you everything you need to know about what you really were to her. Every toxic dynamic has an invisible puppet master, and most of the time it's the person who seems to care less. She didn't want to control you because she was evil. She wanted control because it felt safe. Control over how much you invested. Control over when you were available. Control over the terms of engagement. You gave her that illusion by being predictably present, predictably forgiving, predictably willing to work things out. But control is just an illusion. And illusions shatter when reality sets in. The reality is this: you can't control someone who doesn't need you. You can't manipulate someone who's content with or without you. And you definitely can't play games with someone who's no longer playing when you stopped reacting to her moods, stopped chasing her attention, stopped being emotionally available on her timeline. The control she thought she had evaporated. And nothing is more unsettling to someone who's been calling the shots than realizing the other person has left the building entirely. This is where regret begins. Not because she suddenly loves you, but because she suddenly can't access the power she had over you. And that loss of power feels like loss of love, even when love was never really there. Here's what movies get wrong about heartbreak. They show the dramatic speech that wins her back, the grand gesture, the passionate plea. But real life works differently. Real transformation happens in silence. Real power is built in solitude. Real growth happens when no one's watching. While she's checking your social media for signs of breakdown, you're building. While she's hoping you'll reach out, you're reaching inward. While she's expecting you to stay the same predictable person, you're evolving into someone she never had access to in the first place. This isn't about becoming someone new to impress her. This is about becoming who you always were underneath all that people-pleasing and overgiving. This is about rediscovering the man who existed before he lost himself trying to be enough for someone who wasn't ready to receive him. And that transformation? That's what creates real regret. Not the regret of I miss what we had, but the regret of I had no idea what I was dealing with. The regret of realizing she was playing checkers while you were capable of chess all along. Let's address the elephant in the room. You're going to question yourself. You're going to wonder if you were too emotional, too available, too much. But here's what you need to understand. You weren't too much for the right person. You were just perfectly matched to the wrong situation. Emotional maturity isn't about being less feeling. It's about feeling appropriately. Your depth wasn't the problem. Her inability to match it was. Your consistency wasn't boring. Her addiction to chaos was. Your love wasn't too much. Her capacity was too small. Some people are ready for the kind of love you offer. Others are still learning how to love themselves. And that's not your responsibility to fix, teach, or wait for. Your responsibility is to protect your energy and invest it where it's valued, not where it's tolerated. The woman who's right for you won't make you question whether your love is too much. She wonder how she got so lucky to receive it. She won't test your loyalty. She treasure it. She won't take your consistency for granted. She build her life around it. So here's your choice. You can keep looking back at what didn't work, or you can look forward to what will. You can keep explaining yourself to someone who never really listened, or you can save your words for someone who hangs on everyone. The mirror moment I talked about at the beginning. That's where it all starts. Not with her seeing your worth, with you seeing it first. Because once you truly see yourself, you'll never again accept being unseen by someone else. Stop waiting for her to regret losing you. Start celebrating that you're finally free to find someone who would never dream of letting you go. The game isn't about winning her back. It's about winning yourself back. And brother, that's a game you've already won the moment you decided you were worth more than breadcrumbs. Now go live like you believe it.